Hi everyone, my name is Macarena and I am with Naked Angels Theater Company 3-2 Workshops, and in this video we're going to learn a little bit about poetry and two different ways we can write a poem. Alright, so before we start getting into the writing and talking about poetry, I like to stretch our body. I believe that when we stretch our bodies, our mind thinks clearly. It's very simple. Just put your arms up and stretch as if you're grabbing the apple from the tree. Grab, 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 and then slowly your wrists go down, your elbows, your shoulders, like a marionette. You start like collapsing down. Go down, 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 and stay here for a little bit. And on a count of 8, slowly go up in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we're going to shake it up. We're going to start with our arms and then our legs, and it's very simple. We're just going to count from 1 to 5 in each arm and then go down. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and we go. All right, are we ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Awesome. Now we're going to do some tongue twisters and we're going to get right to it. Okay, so tongue twisters, actors, and you don't have to be an actor to do it. If every time you go and speak publicly, it's nice to do them because they stretch the muscles on your mouth, especially your tongue. So it's better for enunciation and pronunciation later on when you're about to speak out loud. So one of my favorite tongue twisters is Whether the Weather Be Cold. So I'm just going to say it. I'm going to write it down here, and feel free to stop and do it 5 or 6 times until you feel that you're all warm up. So repeat. Whether the weather be cold, whether the weather be hot, we'll be together whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. We can do it a little faster. So it goes. Whether the weather be cold, whether the weather be hot, we'll be together whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to give you one more that I think it's really fun as well, and it's called red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow, yellow. See, it's really hard. But I encourage you to pause the video, try to do those two for about a minute or so, and then unpause it, and let's continue with the lesson. Great. So to kick off the lesson, I would love to read a small verse from a poem titled Songs of Myself, written by Walt Whitman. I really love this verse and I would love to share it with you. So here it goes. I celebrate myself and I sing myself. In what I assume, you shall assume, for every autumn belonging to me as belongs to you. Walt Whitman. So let's start. What is poetry? So poetry is a form of literature that we use to express ourselves. Often poems have rhythmic elements and symbolisms that allows us to evoke a certain feeling when we are writing. Some famous poets that you might have heard of are Edgar Allan Poe, William Shakespeare, Oscar Wilde, my favorite of all times, Pablo Neruda, Langston Hughes, Maya Angelou, Emily Dickinson, Rita Dove, and the list goes on and on and on. I will make sure to write those down for you at the end of the video for you to check them out and read their poems if you're interested. But I just want to let you know that the most important element when writing poetry is to speak from a place of truth. When we're writing from our hearts, we're being truthful with ourselves and with everything that's happening around us, and it is when we do our best work as writers. On today's lesson, we're going to explore 2 forms of poetry. The first form is called a rhyming poem. So basically a rhyming poem means that when we read a poem out loud, certain endings of the line rhyme with other lines from the poem. The endings is what rhymes. So for example, a line that we could have at a rhyming poem could be, your pink shirt matches your skirt. We hear it. Your pink shirt matches your skirt. Shirt and skirt rhyme. And that's the ending of 2 lines. And that's what makes it a rhyming poem. So for this exercise, I'm going to give you a rhyme scheme, and that will guide you through your writing process. It's basically a structure. Before we get started, we need to brainstorm about a theme. What is it that we want to write about? It's very important to reflect within ourselves and ask questions like, how am I feeling? If there's something bothering me, am I excited about something that I want to like put down on paper? If you need to pause the video to do some brainstorming, feel free to do so. It's what's going to really motivate you when we start writing. The first rhyme scheme that I'm going to give you, it's going to be an A-B rhyme scheme. What that means is that the endings of A lines need to rhyme and the endings of B lines need to rhyme. A-B. It's going to be a 4-line verse. I'm going to put here right now so you can read a poem that I wrote that has an A-B rhyme scheme for you to reference. In my mind, I think, when will I see you, friend? I remember you all in pink. Let this not be the end. Here we have our first A line is in my mind, I think. And our second A line is I remember you all in pink. Think and pink rhyme. In our B lines, we have when will I see you, friend? And our second B line is let this not be the end. Friend and end rhyme. There we have an A-B rhyme scheme. Now that we have our first verse of our poem, we are going to write a second verse to our poem with a different rhyme scheme. So it's basically going to be the same, but we're going to have a C-D rhyme scheme. You just have to choose different words that are different rhyme endings. But this time I'm going to challenge you to add a metaphor to one of your lines. What is a metaphor? Well, a metaphor, according to the dictionary, is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase, literally denoting one kind of object or idea, it is used in place of another to suggest a likeness or analogy between them. I know, bunch of words. What is a metaphor again? So basically a metaphor, like how I like to think about it, is that I'm going to compare two things and compare something to another thing to describe it, but I'm not going to use literal terms. I think the easier way to understand a metaphor is with examples. So I'm just going to give you 2 examples that I think might help you. So the first example I'm going to give you of a metaphor, which I think it's going to be an easier way for you to understand what a metaphor is drowning in money. So we can't really drown in money, but we understand that when we're drowning in money, it's like we have so much money that we're drowning in it. That's an example. And another example is from the movie Forrest Gump, that some of you might have seen it or might have even heard this metaphor. And it says, life is a box of chocolates. You never know where you're going to get. It's like you don't know what's going to happen in life, as if you don't know what's going to be inside this box of chocolate. So remember, our rhyme scheme is going to be C-D, and with a metaphor, if you can't. Also, I want to encourage you to, if you have access to a phone or smartphone or a laptop or anything that you can Google and search, feel free to search words that rhyme. It's really hard to come up with words that rhyme, and that's part of the research when writing a poem. Said that you really like the word, like I use pink, but I'm not sure what's gonna rhyme with pink, so I go online to Google and I put like what rhymes with pink, and you look at words, and from that another word's gonna come to mind, and it's okay to do some research to facilitate the process, and you learn more vocabulary, and by the end, like the day, like you might learn new words, and the next time you write a poem, you already have these words in your pocket. So I encourage you to do that. Now I'm going to put here an example of a poem that I wrote, of a verse that I wrote with C-D. It's a continuation of the verse that I wrote with A-B. So it needs to have some sort of relation to it. It's not that we're going to go off topic or off theme. We're going to continue the poem. We're just going to have a different rhyme scheme for the second verse. So here it goes. Beautiful ocean eyes stared at me one last time. I knew we had to say our goodbyes, and from that moment, my life has been a climb. So our first C line is our beautiful ocean eyes, and our second C line is I knew we had to say our goodbyes. Eyes and goodbyes rhyme. And guess what? I added my first metaphor on that first C line, which is your beautiful ocean eyes. And our D lines are stared at me one last time, and from that moment, my life has been a climb is our second D line. So time and climb rhyme. And I added another metaphor at the end of the verse in our last D line, which is, and from that moment, my life has been a climb. All right, now that we're experts at writing rhyming poems, we're going to write a different kind of poem that this time is not going to rhyme, using a different form and structure, and this is going to be a haiku. So according to dictionary, a haiku is an unrhymed verse form of Japanese origin having 3 lines containing usually 5, 7, and 5 syllables, respectively. So different from last exercise, this new poem, and we're only going to do a verse, is not going to rhyme. Instead, it's going to be counted by syllabus. What's a syllabus? Don't freak out. A syllabus, if you don't know what it is, it's basically how a word is broken down by sound. So my name has 4 syllables. Macarena. A fun way to count syllabus is by placing the back of your hand under your shin. And as you say my name, or the word, your shin is going to touch down. And the amount of times it touches your hand is the amount of syllables the word has. So, Macarena. 4 times, 4 syllables. So a haiku, it's a poem that consists of 3 lines that all together add up to 17 syllables. So we're only going to have 3 lines, but in total, of all the words, it needs to have 17 syllables. A really nice way to structure it, and usually what people do, is that they have one line that has 5 syllables, second line that has another 5 syllables, and a third line that has 7 syllables. I'm going to put here an example of a haiku that I wrote, and so you can see the breakdown of syllables and lines. Today is Sunday. I am very excited to stay in my bed. Today is Sunday. 5 syllables. I am very excited. 7 syllables. To stay in my bed. 5 syllables. And there you have a very fun haiku. Now I want to encourage you to write your own haiku, and I want to challenge you to write a haiku that describes how you're feeling right now. And that's it. That is the end of the lesson and of the workshop for poetry. And I just want to remind you that there are many ways to write poetry, structured and unstructured ways. So I encourage you to give it a try to both of them. And remember that the most important thing about writing poetry is to speak from your heart and be truthful to your writing. And nothing can go wrong if you just do that and listen to yourself. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I encourage you to comment below your poems or haikus if you want. I'm sure they're all amazing and unique. And I am Macarena, and I am with Naked Angels Theater Company's 3-2 Writing Workshop. Bye, everyone.